Hi, I'm Robert Knoll. You're at the Guitar Zone, and this is the 8th lesson of 53 weekly lessons. I always start off with coming back to your practice routine because it's so important. We're working for consistency. We want you to be diligent. You've got to have these attributes to help you learn to attain your goals. It's learning how to learn. So if we're going to be consistent with our strumming and our scales that we're working on and our learning, we've got to be diligent in our practice routine. We've got to not play around and fool around, but actually make use of what time we have. And some days maybe it's a shorter time. Well, we have to really do things that make that time valuable, and we use it really effectively. So diligent, to be diligent. And we're learning how to learn. So we're getting better. We're tweaking it in. We're finding other ways to practice things that help us. So I'm here to give you more ideas. But right now, the psychology of learning is really important. We've got to be consistent. It's something you can't take a day off or 2 days off. You just can't do that if you want to keep getting better. Now, some days it's just you're going to have a rough time. It's not going to sound that great, and you're going to have issues, and you're going to wonder why your fingers can't do it, and the picking, the strumming. We all have good and bad days, but we still have to persevere. We have to work on it. That perseverance. There's another great word. Remember, I talked about a weird word, finagle. Sometimes we have to finagle a little bit. I love that word, finagling. Check it out. So anyways, there's my little rap for you. I just want you to be working on practicing better, okay? Back to working on progression 1A. We're still doing more with this, and hopefully by now you're starting to get these chords going. And you've memorized the chords. I'm really hoping by this week you should have that done, okay? If you haven't, you got to stick around before you go to next week, because I want you to have the chords memorized. C, A minor, D minor, G, E minor, A minor, right? And then D minor, G7. Did I show you a mystery secret chord? I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't want to go there to that chord. Anyways, hopefully you're getting those chords better. I talked about spelling the notes of the chords, that you know the note names, C, E, G, C, E, and arpeggiating. Remember we learned that word, arpeggio. Arpeggiating, hitting the strings separately instead of strumming. So when you play the chord progression, I wanted to say that it would be a great idea for you to, besides strum the down strum, and then you did a down up strum, which would have been down up, down up. You're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. It's so good to 2, 3, to actually count while you're strumming. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then 1, 2, 3. Those are the quarter notes. Just 1 beat a piece on each chord, so that's 1 strum on every beat, 4 beats to a measure. So when you look at your chart, you see you have measures. Every bar line is 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have 1, 2, 3. And if you look at the beginning of your chart, you see 4, 4. That's called a time signature. That means 4 beats to a measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. So there's something you're going to have to learn what a quarter note is. You might want to look it up, but I'll talk about it in the future. Quarter notes, whole notes, half notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, 32nd notes, 64th notes. We have different kinds of notes. Quarter notes get 1 beat, 2. If I hit quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're getting every beat. Just like when we played your scales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And we're really thinking in fours most of the time. That's a good thing for you to be doing right now. Really getting acquainted with 4 beats to a measure. So the other thing I wanted to say about the chords was when we're talking about arpeggiating, it would be great for you to do C, and then, so you're 1, and maybe you do it again twice, and then you go to your A minor, and then do it again. So you're doing 2 arpeggios, and just the 4 on that, and now all 6. You're doing your G. So you're actually practicing getting a clean strings, clean chords. And then that new G7. So you want to make sure that each note's coming out. There's not a muted note. So you could even go and then strum. If you've got a clean notes, right? And all 5 of those notes in the A minor come out good, then you give it the strum. 4 notes of that D minor, give it the strum. That G chord, all 6. Then your E minor. You get the sound good on that, then you deserve to give that chord a strum. G7. And hopefully you're starting to get better sound. Your fingers are getting more use. It takes strength. You have to press. You have to have that thumb back there, and you have to be pressing against, your fingers are pressing against the fretboard, and your thumb is helping you give that vice grip, so that you're pressing against the back of the neck, and your fingers are pressing. Therefore, you're able to get the power you need to keep your fingers, have to have the right amount of pressure to sound that note. And you got to equalize that among your fingers, and hopefully you're working on that to get your fingers strong and to get the right amount of pressure. You're pressing with your thumb back here, but you're pressing with your fingers to the fretboard. I think it's really good. We just went through the chords again, and once again, you've got to review everything. The picking exercises, the chromatic scale, your notes, your note names should be getting really good by this 8th week, okay? And then you're starting to get good with the chords. And we're going to start advancing into some other areas real soon. So we're kind of hanging back here, pulling you back. Let's keep doing it. You're at the guitar zone. You're here. And I'm really glad you're here. See you next lesson.